Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for an early Zoom meeting. We did have a meeting in person in Lake County, and then we decided to also bring it virtual for those that cannot make it into an in-person meeting. So we are reaching a larger audience than just Lake County at this time. But so you can see the photo. This is one of the pears. And I cut back looking for where the larvae was, and it tunnels through, and then it ended up settling on the sunny side of the fruit, which it causes this black spot on the outside of the fruit. Typically at that time, the larvae is below that area. So we are presenting, Clebson has already introduced himself. Brock Zoller, the Pear Doctor, Inc., is a PCA in Lake County. I assume all you guys know him. And Brock was the one that brought this to our attention when he found this in the field. So just wanted to mention that to get started. Okay, so we wanted to talk to everyone to let everyone know, like, this is what we found. But I will say that there is still a lot of questions. We have more questions than we have answers at this point. So I'm just prefacing that there's a lot we don't know. But there are some things that we do know. And so wanting to let you know in the beginning, we're in the middle of working on trying to figure this out. In August.
Recording.
Okay, there.
Okay.
Someone's on the phone and it's doing playback. Let's see, let's mute. That's probably it. There we go. So in August of this year, Brock was in the field and he came across fruit that had this black spot on the outside of the fruit, on the sunny side of the fruit. And it at first looked like codling moth damage, and it could easily have been disregarded as codling moth damage. The one difference, though, is that there isn't the normal frass on the outside that you find in codling moth damage. So when he cut open the fruit, this was what he found, which is a flat-headed borer. It's a beetle in the family Brupestidae, and it was under the black portion of the fruit, the outer portion of the skin, and inside was just a lot of frass, which is their poop. So this is all brown, is all their frass. So this is a photo of what it can look like. In the field, you can see just a little small dot spot on the outside of the fruit. And that's the beginning, and then that spot gets larger, as you can see here, and they create somewhat of like a chamber inside. So this fruit specifically on the bottom, when you tap on that dark portion, it's hard on the outside, and it spreads and gets larger. And in the field, this is what it could look like. This is photos I took when I was in the field looking for this flatheaded borer, and it's just a black spot that you see on the outside. And as you can see, this one's just beginning to have a black spot. And so how is it different than codling moth? Because that is one of the pests out in the field. Unfortunately, I didn't have any pictures of codling moth damage on pear, but you can see that it enters through the calyx, but it has the frass on the outside. Or if you enter through the side, you have the frass on the outside. But with the flatheaded borer, majority of the ones I found, they were entered through the calyx, but did not have that outer frass. But you tend to have this black spot on the sun side of the fruit. Where the sun's hitting the fruit, you'll get a black spot eventually. So that is the biggest difference when you're looking out in the field. How does this look different? I think that it's possible that if this insect has been doing this for more than one season, it's possible that it wasn't noticed because of the similarities to codling moth damage out in the field. So where have we found the flatheaded borers in the pear fruit? We found it in 4 pear orchards in Lake County, and there were a few, two of the orchards, there was quite a few fruit that had flatheaded borers in them, where when you're walking down the aisle, you could find them every so often. But one thing to keep in mind is that this came to our attention late in the season. And by the time we got out in the field, these were fields that we were already working in research-wise. So it was easy when I went out to change codling moth traps to look on each side as I'm walking down from trap to trap to find this in this specific orchard. We did not have time to do a survey of the area. So we don't know how widespread this might be, because harvest happened not long after this period of time. So we do need to do more of an area-wide scouting to determine the extent of the distribution. We were not able to conduct that before harvest. So that's something looking forward in 2024 we'd like to do, is gain access to multiple orchards to walk the orchard in August, September before harvest, to be able to have a better understanding of how wide, what is the distribution area? Is it only these 4 orchards, or are we looking at a larger region than we currently know? So as an entomologist, flatheaded borer and fruit, this is mind-boggling. And and I've been talking to different entomologists and looking for specialists that work with flatheaded borers in general. And every time I bring this up, they are just, it blows our minds. And the reason being is insects are classified. So, you know, this specific insect that we're dealing with, the flatheaded borer, we do know down to the genus, but we don't know the species currently. But as you classify insects, this is, you know, the phylum is the largest classification, and then class goes smaller, and order smaller, family smaller, and genus